Pastor Mark Biltz here from Shaddai Ministries. Thank you again so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe and share. Also, please like this video, and we would love to hear your comments. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye. It's Vayak'hel, which means, and he assembled. Can you imagine? He's the great I am. Yom Kippur. Moses receives the new set of tablets. They've been forgiven. He comes down. And now it's the Feast of Tabernacles in our Torah portion, basically the first one. And they're building the tabernacle. You know, when here God at creation builds a wonderful place for us to live. We get air, we get water, food, everything we need to survive. And now the creator of the universe, who has need of nothing, ask Israel, could you build me a place for me here on this little planet I created for you? You know, how many of you had a tent when you were a kid, or made a blanket on your bed into a tent? You know what I'm talking about, especially if you can afford a tent. But the thing that the creator of the universe wants his kids to build him a house. But the thing is, we had to build it so he'd be able to dwell in it. We couldn't build just any house. We couldn't just decide to use any fabric or build it any dimensions. We had to build it according to his specifications. All right? So he would be able to dwell among us. Well, here, the golden calf episode has just happened. Okay, Moses is headed up to make an atonement. Israel's forgiven. Moses returns with the blueprints, the plans for making the tabernacle, which we know is based on the pattern that he saw in heaven. So what does Moses do? He assembles the people. And that's what the Torah portion means, to assemble. So let's look at Exodus 35:1. And isn't this amazing? They're assembling the tabernacle during the Feast of Tabernacles. What a concept. It says, Moses assembled all the congregation of the children of Israel, and he said to them, these are the words which the Lord has commanded that you should do them. Okay, the word assemble, I have 3 letters. There's always root words as well, but this is the word, comes from the word kahal in Hebrew. Well, guess what? The Septuagint, how many of you have heard of the Septuagint? Anyone who hasn't heard of the Septuagint? Okay, basically it's the Greek version of the Hebrew Bible, and it was written in 132 BC. 132 years before Messiah was born, they had a Greek Bible, not for the pagan Greeks, but for the Jews who spoke Greek. Okay? And they translated kahal into Greek as ecclesia or ecclesia. Now, what English word did our Bible translate ecclesia as? How many of you know there were no churches 132 BC? Ecclesia never meant church. Here is the ecclesia. It was right there. It talks about in Moses' day, the ecclesia, it means the called out ones, okay? And they were called out of Egypt. And here's Moses. And listen to this. This is crazy. In Acts 7, 37 and 38, in the King James Version, it says, this is that Moses who said to the children of Israel, a prophet shall God raise up to you among your brethren, like to me. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel that spoke to him on Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received living oracles to give unto us. Okay, how many of you believe out in the wilderness when Moses was there was a church in 1500 BC? This is the problem with English, and this is the problem with bias. The translators were biased. They didn't want ecclesia to refer to Israel, so they changed the word for assembly to church. Okay, now watch this. What you have to understand, this is an assembly. They're at a Seahawks game. So therefore, this is an assembly. This could also be called an ecclesia. They were called out of their home into Seahawks Stadium. Well, guess what? It's also synagogue, the word for synagogue. And so here, because the synagogue has called out ones as well. So you need to understand the word assembly in Greek is ecclesia, and in Hebrew it could also be synagogue. So actually, synagogue and ecclesia are synonyms. They mean the same thing. But let me show you what happens. Look at Acts 19, 33 and 34. It says, some of the crowd prompted Alexander, whom the Jews had put forward. And Alexander, motioning with his hand, wanted to make a defense to the crowd. But when they recognized he was a Jew, for about 2 hours, they all cry out with one voice, great is Artemis of the Ephesians. They're worshiping this god, this gigantic crowd of who knows how many thousands of people for 2 hours. And then look at verse 35 and 41. It says, when the town clerk had quieted the crowd, he said, men of Ephesus, who was there who does not know that the city of the Ephesians is the temple keeper of the great Artemis, and of the sacred stone that fell from the sky? And when he said these things, he dismissed the assembly. How come they didn't put church? The Greek word is ecclesia. Because, oh my goodness, we can't let them think the church was worshiping the great goddess Diana, Artemis, for 2 hours. So now we're going to translate ecclesia as assembly like it's supposed to be. In one sense, there was no church in the New Testament. They were assemblies. Are you following me? There were assemblies. There was no church. And when we read John's Revelation, it's really to the 7 assemblies. In matter of fact, in Revelations, if you are familiar, it talks about those of the synagogue of Satan, right? And in the book of James, how many of you remember in the book of James, it talks about if one comes into your assembly with the gold ring, rich apparel, don't give them preference. Well, guess what? The word there is synagogue. But oh my goodness, the church says we can't let people think they were meeting in a synagogue, so we're going to change it to assembly. And then in Revelation, where it talks about the synagogue of Satan, it's the same word. How come they don't translate it there as assembly like they did in James? So they'll take synagogue, which means assembly, and they'll make it synagogue or assembly, and ecclesia, they'll make it church or assembly. So the translators, you have to understand, even in King James, I'm sorry for you King James only, there are biases. And so you have to understand that. Pastor Mark Biltz here from El Shaddai Ministries. Thank you again so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe and share. Also, please like this video, and we would love to hear your comments. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.